Welcome to the AFK podcast. I am your host, Afro Black, coming at y'all with yet another episode with my boy slash co-host, Mr. Markov's Portrait. Say hello to the people.
I'm eating salad.
Oh, salad. I want the salad. Listen, I haven't had a good Caesar salad in a while, okay?
Nah, dude, you gotta get not sponsored. The fucking Dole salad kits, the
Oh, yeah,
Asian Zing
yeah, yeah.
one that they make. The
Uh-huh.
Asian Zing ones go fucking dummy.
True. Amber
Mm,
used to get us the Caesar salad kits for whenever we had steaks or whatever for a side.
so fucking good,
It's
dude.
pretty
Mm,
solid. But we have a multitude of uh, of articles for y'all tonight. I need more plural synonyms.
well, look them up before the show next time.
You know what? I'll just make a list and just start crossing them out as I go down it.
There you go.
Yes. We're gonna start out with our local favorite franchise, Overwatch. More specifically, we're going to talk about how the director responded to the review bomb. Okay, non-terroristic. Overwatch 2 director Aaron Keller has taken the time to not only respond to the game's unfortunate review bombing on Steam, but also to reassure fans how much content is waiting ahead of them. For those unfamiliar, Overwatch 2 launched on Steam on August 10th and quickly became the worst reviewed game on the platform ever. As of the time of our story, Overwatch 2 had a score of just 0.96 based on an approval rating of 10% from over 90,000 votes. On Blizzard.com, Keller addressed the review bombing on Stride. While he admits it's not fun to have your game to be the target of these online attacks, the joy of seeing new players join the game far outweighs it. Quote, we also launched on Steam last week, and although being review bombed isn't a fun experience, it's been great to see lots of new players jump into Overwatch 2 for the first time ever. Our goal with Overwatch 2 has been to make the game more accessible than ever for more people than ever before. Um, Keller then talked about the controversial decision to cancel Overwatch 2's long-awaited PvE hero mode and how that has surely been a factor in the review bombing. In addition, he shared the vision of Overwatch 2 for going forward and promised it will be one worth seeing through. Quote, many of the reviews on Steam mention the cancellation of the much larger component of PvE that was announced in 2019 as one of their primary reasons for dissatisfaction with the game. Keller said, "I get that announcement was about an ambitious project that we ultimately couldn't deliver on. If we could turn back the clock, then what can we do? We can keep, or we if we can't turn back the clock, then what can we do? We can keep adding to and improving Overwatch 2. That is how we move forward. This means more maps, heroes, game modes, missions, stories, events, cool cosmetics and features, and ever expanding, evolving, and improving game." This is the future of Overwatch, one where we will continue to create and innovate on what is important, or what is making the game great for the players who are playing now. Despite the PvE hero mode being canceled, Overwatch 2 fans will still have similar PvE story missions to look forward to, including those in the game's latest season, Invasion. In this new season, the story missions see players fighting against the Null Sector and will show how such heroes as Lucio, Reinhardt, and others met before Winston banded together in Overwatch. How you feel about that, Carter? You think it's justified?
At this point, I don't think the existence of Overwatch 2 is justified in any kind of consumer's capacity.
Fair.
Um, the entire point of selling Overwatch 2 as a game at all to people was them going, hey, we want to dump in a bunch of game modes that we can on this current engine and implement a bunch of fixes that we can on this current engine, the majority of which is around this new single player PvE, or not single player, but PvE experience that they have then since canceled. So to then sit there knowing that the original intent or marketing of your game was around, hey, let's do this new mode, to then cancel that mode and tell people, oh no, they're just getting a review bomb because they don't get what they want, when the thing that we want is, the game that they were promised for 3 years, um, without being provided a means of going back to the old formula because they killed it on launch day. I don't think there is any kind of brand or company awareness behind anything that they are doing with that game right now.
No, not at all. Very disconnected from reality and very unempathetic to why people are
Yeah,
so upset with them.
yeah.
But but yeah, no. I mean, if people are still gonna play it, then they're gonna still play it, I guess. But I just hope that they don't get their hopes up too far on the shit that
Agreed.
they're quote unquote promising once again.
They can promise all they want, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like take that with a grain of salt because as of right now, they don't exactly have the best track record right now.
yeah,
So,
last 7 or 8 years.
hmm.
It's about how long that record's been going.
Yes, sir. We can keep it going, dude. Here's to a decade of disappointing our fans.
Oh, don't get me started.
But yeah, I didn't really have much to say on that. I just thought that was funny.
It was interesting.
hmm On to the next article. Charles Martinet is no longer the voice
Martinet.
of Martinet.
Yep.
Martinet is no longer the voice of Mario. Known for the voice of Mario, Luigi, and Wario in Nintendo Super Mario Bros. Games for 3 decades, will no longer voice those characters. Nintendo announced on Monday Martinet will segue into the role of Mario Ambassador, in which he will continue to travel the world sharing the joy of Mario, the company said in a statement posted on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. It has been an honor working with Charles for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him, Nintendo added, saying it would post a video message featuring Martinet and Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto at a future date. Martinet confirmed the news on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, writing, "My new adventure begins. You are all number one in my heart." Um, Nintendo fans first noticed a change to the voices of Mario and Wario in recent trailers for Super Mario Bros. Wonder and WarioWare Move It. Two new games coming to Nintendo Switch this fall. In an email to Polygon, Nintendo confirmed Martinet would not appear in Wonder. While Charles is not involved in the game, we are excited to honor his legacy and contributions, including looking ahead to see what he'll be doing as a Mario ambassador. Martinet, 67, has been the identifiable voice behind Mario since '91. He first started performing Mario's chipper, exaggerated Italian-flavored voice for Mario or for Nintendo at trade shows, but went on to record the character's voice for the first time in a Nintendo game in Super Mario 64, released in '96. Since then, Martinet has been the voice of Mario in dozens of games, expanding his vocal range to include voices for Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Baby Luigi, and Baby Mario. Um, but for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Nintendo and Illumination enlisted Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario. For Luigi, Charlie Day stepped in. Martinet himself appeared in the film in two charming cameos, Giuseppe and Mario's dad. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say that.
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. Okay. All right, but yeah, so that is unfortunate. It looks like the man himself is retiring. I hope he enjoys his retirement. How do you feel about it, Carter?
Uh, it end of an era. It was. He's been doing it for as long as video games have had voice acting, so it's kind of wild to think that I don't know, because Nintendo's usually pretty good about like recycling voice lines and shit or like sound clips for decades upon decades.
Yeah.
I know a lot of like well-known or classic Yoshi sounds or noises that he makes have been like recycled since pretty much Yoshi's Island or Mario World. Um, so I'm kind of surprised they're not going that route, but I also kind of appreciate that they're not going that route after this long, because he's definitely iconic, and it'll be interesting to see how they choose to proceed with that. I mean, I'm sure whoever they get will be great. But
Yeah, because
one other interesting, yeah.
I'm assuming that as his role of Mario ambassador, I would assume that Nintendo's going to give him some decision making when it comes to finding a new voice actor to replace him.
Oh, I would imagine 100% look for
But
him
I am also
personally on that.
curious what else like being a Mario ambassador would actually like encompass. I guess besides showing up at
Probably just
conventions.
getting paid by Nintendo to fly around places for the rest of your life,
That'd be nice. That'd be a cool
which is
retirement.
fine. Like, not knocking that at all. Man's deserved it.
Hell yeah. I'm happy
But
for him. I hope he enjoys it.
yeah, one other little factoid to note about that. The last thing that he recorded as Mario was in the Mario movie. At the end of the movie, like it said, he played Mario and Luigi's dad. Um, and the very last thing that he says as part of like the Mario franchise, he runs up, hugs both of them, and says, "These are my boys." So nice little,
That is nice. That is wholesome.
yeah, yeah.
That is
So
wholesome. I love that.
happy retirement,
Happy
Mr. Iwata.
retirement, Charles. You deserve it. Thank you for giving us something fantastic for our childhoods. And one
And
hell of a
all
fucking
ages.
legacy. It's pretty fucking solid. But but yeah. Um, moving on. And speaking of solid, some new Metal Gear Solid collection games are barely HD, apparently, according to Kotaku. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is just around the corner, and publisher Konami's dumped a bunch of additional info about the ports and remasters ahead of their October 24th release date. One of the big reveals is Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 Snake Eater will still only run at 720p, same as their previous HD versions on the PS3 and Xbox 360. Um, oh, okay. Hold on. I guess we'll throw in this. So Kotaku updated this article on the 22nd. Konami now says that the only Switch version or that only the Switch versions run at lower resolution. With Konami telling IGN that the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC versions all having a target of 1080p resolution and 60 FPS. However, it's still not clear that if that target is a hard commitment or simply the maximum performance the game will reach on those platforms. So, I guess I don't really need to read the rest of that article, but okay. So basically, they're hitting the bare minimum for all the mainstay, like the beefier consoles and PC, and then they're hitting the max that they can on the Switch, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
yeah, I think we talked about this last week, but I feel like 1080p is starting to become what 720p was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's just at that stage where it's like, I mean, it's okay, but don't you think you guys should be like reaching for something a little bit higher, just a little bit?
I agree.
Like, but then again, though, 1440p is still kind of hard to hit at 60 FPS.
Well, and I don't know, like the a game as old as those or a franchise as old as those, like I don't necessarily mind that it's not fucking 4K 60 frames because
Yeah,
like I
they
don't
don't
know.
have the
There's a point where
polygons for that.
yeah, there's a point in HD you're just gonna see textures wrapped around models, and
Yeah,
it's not gonna change your experience.
yeah. If anything, it's gonna worsen it.
Yeah,
So, okay. I mean, understanding like discussing that though, I guess 1080p is fine for these specifically because it's yeah, I think that's an okay balance. I'd say. And as for the Switch, I mean, I guess we'll see if it actually does run at 60 FPS at 720. Because, like I said, pretty sure 720p is like the highest resolution you can have on the OLED, right?
I mean, there's as far as like polygonal stuff goes, I'm sure that's pretty close. Otherwise, like if you're looking for actual 3D games, I don't know. Guess it depends on the game, but
Fair. But but yeah, so Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 looks like it's coming out the 24th, and looks like you'll be able to see it in some prettier pictures. So that's cool.
yeah, no. This week is gonna kick off the beginning of what I'm calling 60 days of hell for my wallet.
Fucking, we got Starfield coming out in like a week.
Yep.
We got.
I still need to get Armored Core. I need to finish Baldur's Gate.
I need to finish Remnant, Armored Core. Let's see. I started up that Master Chief collection playthrough with Rigo and them, so I got to finish that. But that's not a new game, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I got to.
Spider-Man comes out.
I want to at least take a look at the new Echoes update for No Man's Sky at some point.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that. I might fire that up here in a bit while we're talking.
Yeah, but
We'll talk about that in a bit because I posted a bunch about that too. So.
yes. Um, let's see here. Speaking of Remnant 2, so this was posted on the 21st. It looks like Remnant 2 has taken down Diablo 4 to become July 2023's best-selling game in the US. The battle for Game of the Summer has found its victor. Remnant 2 beat D4 to become the best-selling game of July 2023 in the US. According to the latest MPD data from Matt Piscatella, Gearbox's Remnant 2 ranked first in July sales for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and Steam, dethroning Activision Blizzard's D4. Pikmin 4 was July's other notable debut, jumping into sixth place, just behind Final Fantasy 16. Online updates also saw the return of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 to the top 20, coming in at number 13 and number 20, respectively.
Double Pog.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't really expecting that, to see two random old Call of Duties pop up again. That's funny.
I think the big thing that's done that is they recently had some. I think they rolled out some new anti-cheat that made the multiplayer servers playable again.
Yes. Yeah, and I
For
think
the
they fixed the old servers too in general.
yeah, because they put them on Game Pass, I believe. So, or if they didn't put them on Game Pass, they're on modern Xbox consoles now. So,
True.
had to make sure people could play them.
Fair enough. It looks like the top 10 is debuting with obviously Remnant 2 being number 1. Number 2 is Diablo 4. Number 3 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number 4 is Hogwarts Legacy. Number 5 is Final Fantasy 16. Number 6 is Pikmin 4. Number 7 is Tears of the Kingdom. Number 8 is Street Fighter 6. Number 9 is Elden Ring. And number 10 is MLB The Show 23. Let's see here. Remnant 2's ranking is partially attributed to the selling of over 1 million copies in its first week after releasing on July 25th. We called it a triumphant sequel in our review, and it quickly jumped to the top of Steam's charts, fueled by a dedicated community searching for a host of Easter eggs. Remnant 2 exceeded our expectations. Gearbox Publishing San Francisco president Yoon Im saying at the time as a commercial and critical hit, we're incredibly proud of the Gunfire team and everyone here at Gearbox Publishing who brought this title to life. Remnant 2 is currently the 18th best-selling game of 2023, with Hogwarts Legacy at number 1 and Tears of the Kingdom behind it at number 2. And a little bit off kilter, but it's in the same article, so might as well say it. PS5 was the top-selling console in July. PS5 continues to top the charts despite the 19% decline in year-over-year hardware spending to $292 million. Hardware spending is up overall by 17%. PS5 was the best-selling platform in both units and dollars last month, with the Nintendo Switch ranking second in both categories. PS5's DualSense Edge controller also became the best-selling game accessory of 2023 in dollar sales, driving last month's accessory spending to $173 million, which is 8% higher than last year's sales. The PS5 surpassed 40 million units sold last month, tracking slightly behind the PS4 in total sales. The PS5's next big release is Spider-Man 2, which is expected to be one of the biggest releases of this year. It'll be out October 20th alongside a special PS5 console bundle, which you can pre-order in this article, which will be in the description down below. Which actually, I'm curious. What's the cost of this bitch?
I believe it's the digital model last time I knew. So
So
should be like
limited edition bundle looks like it's 600, and then you can get the controller itself for about 80.
Okay. I assume the limited edition bundle comes with the game.
I'd hope so. Jesus Christ.
The game, or at least a second controller.
It looks like, as of like this recording, it looks like the PS5 bundle is sold out on Amazon. It's still available at Walmart, Best Buy, not Target. PS Direct still has it, and it's completely sold out at GameStop.
Yeah, they've been pretty generous about the restocks though, so I could see at least one more giant wave between now and October, if
Shit,
not
I'd
a
hope
couple
so.
more.
They'd basically just be reprinting money.
Well, fuck, the last Spider-Man game when the PS4 Pro came out, they did one wave, so I'm surprised we've gotten this much.
Fair enough. Shit, what did I just delete? Uh oh,
Did you just delete?
that's what I'm wondering.
Better not have been one of my articles.
Let's see. I know it's in here somewhere. So just did this one, so I'm assuming it's this one. Okay. So, oops. Okay. So moving on to the next topic. Former Netflix executive launches new regionally focused publisher, Midwest Games. Is it located in Iowa?
Not Iowa, but it is in the Midwest.
Oh, hello. Okay. So, IGN can exclusively reveal the launch of Midwest Games, a regionally focused video game publisher headquartered in Green Bay, Wisconsin. At the helm of the new studio is Ben Cavallo, an industry veteran with prior experience as Netflix senior management. Cavallo says the goal of the new studio is to focus on creating opportunities for talent across the Midwest and in other underrepresented regions. Um, let's see here. Quote, coming from the Midwest, I'm well aware of the challenges of breaking into and building a career within the games industry from here. Cavallo tells IGN. Currently, the Midwest ranks at the bottom among U.S. regions in terms of both game output and employment opportunities. Not coincidentally, it's also the only U.S. region lacking an established, dedicated video game publisher collaborating with local developers. We intend to shift this landscape while we're headquartered in the Midwest. That's not where our focus is, or our focus ends. We're putting our flag in the ground and asserting that you can do this here, and if we can achieve success here, this creates a proof point that it can be done anywhere, not only in traditional industry hotspots. Midwest Games leadership is also made up of co-founder and head of partnerships Robert Martin, Chief Marketing Officer Jennifer Corbett, Chief Project Officer Chris Klemecki, and board members Mark James and Liz Kewen. This group brings experience from companies including Meta, 2K, Striking Distance Studios, Crunchyroll, Discovery Communications, and more. Along with the reveal of the new publisher, Midwest Games revealed its publishing partnership. Midwest Games will work with Cincinnati-based developer Guiley Games to release Rah Rah Boom, a four-player cooperative beat 'em up with 2D action taking place in a hand-drawn art style. IGN can exclusively reveal the trailer for Raw Room, which you can find in this article in the description. Rah Rah Boom will tell a coming of age narrative about four ninja cheerleaders from outer space fighting against an army of AI robots. What?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Quote, we met with many publishers during the development of Rah Rah Boom and found that Midwest Games was the closest match to our goals and values, says Guiley Games founder Chris Bergman. We're not just working hard to create successful games, we want to expand the opportunities for all developers in our hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, and the the rest of the Midwest. Fans attending 2D Con in Minnesota later this month can go to a panel introducing Midwest Games on Saturday, August 26th, which was yesterday. There will also be a Rah Rah Boom gameplay contest. I guess it was today as of this recording at 1 p.m. Midwest Games is backed by Titletown Tech, a venture capital firm led by NFL's Green Bay Packers and Microsoft. How you feel about this, Carter?
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we are kind of steering away from video games being a Hollywood thing, which is, I don't know, as cool as it was back 10 years ago when it first started. I think we're kind of hitting a point of stagnation, so it'll be cool to see some other studios outside of that kind of bubble
Fair.
flex their creative muscle and make something new.
Hell yeah.
And the game that they talked about in this article looks pretty kind of fun, pretty cool. So,
Oh, all right. I'll have to watch the trailer then
but
after
I'm
the
also
episode.
I'm also a little skank for any 2D indie game. So
True. You are an indie whore.
true.
Fair enough. Um, let's
Reminds
see.
me.
Moving on to the next thing. Why don't we talk about opening night at Gamescom 2023, Carter?
Why don't we? God, I didn't even think. We're probably at the point I probably could have just posted one for the entirety of Gamescom.
Wait, did you really?
I should have.
Um.
Well, I'm saying I don't know if I did, but I should have.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it in here. Here.
Let me grab one quick. Here we go.
That also works. Why don't you tell us
All
all about
right.
it?
So, as posted in the chat 10 seconds ago, GamesHub.com has reported on Gamescom 2023. The opening ceremony of Gamescom, which was August 24th, featured new looks at big upcoming games and the debut of intriguing new titles as well. Gamescom once again kicked off its proceedings with Opening Night Live in 2023, a stage presentation hosted by Jeff Keighley, the only man in video games. The show gave us new looks at upcoming titles like Alan Wake 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Opening Night Live also gave us some surprise announcements too, from the debut of interesting new games like Dustborn and Thank Goodness You're Here, to the long-awaited announcement of a release date for Tekken 8. Here's a rundown of everything announced at the show. We got a live-action trailer for Starfield. Little Nightmares 3 got an announcement trailer. It's a fun little co-op indie game. It's kind of horror-y, like Tim Burton-esque. Black Myth Wukong, which looks fucking badass. It is a action RPG based on Journey to the West. It is very much a Souls-like game where you play the Monkey King. So if you know anything about that story, that is what that's about. It's a fun little interpretation or twisted take on the lore. Killing Floor 3 got an announcement trailer. No console or no release date yet, but it is coming to all modern platforms and PC, so PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Rebel Moon is getting a video game adaptation. So Rebel Moon is Zack Snyder's rejected Star Wars movie. We talked about this a few weeks ago. That Netflix ended up buying to turn it into its own original IP. The video game will be developed by Super Evil Megacorp, and it is presumed that it will release on the Netflix game subscription service. They have previously teased this project, saying that it would be a team-based competitive multiplayer game, so probably in the same vein as Rainbow Six with what we have currently, being just that.
That sounds pretty hot.
Crimson, it does sound pretty rad actually. Crimson Desert got a gameplay trailer montage. It is a game from a South Korean developer. Crimson Desert is an action RPG themed in Western fantasy. You will be able to do horseback riding, sword fighting, and quest completing. There's also mountain foraging, cat cuddling, fishing, instrument playing, and hot air balloon riding. The game is being developed by Pearl Abyss, who is responsible for the MMO Black Desert Online.
Yep, Black Desert.
So,
Matthew and
if you
I's
like
favorite MMO slash addiction for the last couple of
if you
years.
like BDO, then there you go. Ahead of its September 21st release this year, Payday 3 has announced a collaboration with rapper and actor Ice-T in a pre-recorded clip where he has teased his own mission for this team of heisters, followed by a gameplay trailer. I, I'm hoping I can get into Payday 3 more than I did 2, because I played a little bit of 2, and it was really fun, but I feel like I just missed the window.
Yeah, I honestly get that because I used to play it with Lucas every now and again. I'm just like, it's alright, but
I
nothing.
was always more of a GTA guy, but
That's fair.
I don't know. In my older age, I don't have as much time to prep for the heists. I'd rather just do them.
True.
Assassin's Creed Mirage got got a trailer showing off Baghdad. Notably, the trailer was voiced entirely in Arabic and also featured a fully Arabic audio track. Assassin's Creed Mirage is slated for October 5th. As stated at the top of this article, Tekken 8 got a release date and a story mode trailer, as well as a single player mode unveiling and new characters. Tekken 8 director Kazushiro Harada came on stage to debut a new game mode coming to the upcoming fighter game, which is a single player mode that attempts to mimic the arcade experiences of old. This mode will feature custom chibi player avatars and incorporate some of the treasure mode features of past Tekken games, featuring the ability to dress up your fighters in ridiculous outfits for online battle. The new trailer also debuted a glimpse of the story mode of the game, which will continue the Mishima saga and debut several returning characters like Steve Fox and Yoshimitsu. There is a roster of 32 characters on launch.
That is fucking insane, and I
For
love
a
that.
fucking modern fighting game, that is an insane starting roster.
That is fucking beautiful. I don't even think Smash had anywhere near that many at launch, did it?
Smash Ultimate
Yeah.
had 74 on launch.
Wait, what?
Smash Ultimate brought every single prior fighter back and added like 7 new ones in.
Now, what fucking game am I thinking?
The wrong one.
I don't know.
Alongside all of that juice, they did announce a release date after months of speculation. Tekken 8 comes out on all major platforms January 26th, 2024. There is also a collector's edition they announced that goes pretty hard. Next, Modern Warfare 3 got a bit of a reveal about the game's single player mode and will feature open combat missions, allowing players to approach objectives in their own way for the first time in the series. Up to this point, Call of Duty campaign missions have been very linear. A gameplay video for the opening mission, Operation 627, was shown depicting the infiltration of a castle via the sea. Modern Warfare 3 comes out November 10th. Nightingale, a Victorian time-traveling survival game, debuted a new trailer and announced an early access release date after being delayed last year. It will be released February 22nd of next year. Like the art direction for this one, love the vibe, it looks pretty creepy.
It does
So,
indeed. I'm looking at the thumbnail of it.
yeah, it looks kind of fun. Looking forward to that. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. A trailer for the upcoming Grand Blue Fantasy character action game was shown, featuring the English language voiceover cast. That drops February 1st of next year. As we will come to find out over the course of this article, January and February are going to be a double ticking for your wallets. Mine anyway. Next on the list, Zenless Zone Zero. Xenu Lee of Toyoverse took the stage to speak about the company's newest game following Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail called Zenless Zone Zero. Excuse me. It is an urban-themed RPG that seems very heavily influenced by the Persona series. A stylish new trailer showed off some of the environments, characters, and mini-games you'll be able to play. It then showed off a very brief look at the stylish and impactful-looking character action combat. A PS5 technical test was announced beginning August 22nd of 2023. This was then followed by a trailer for Genshin Impact's newest character, Liney. So, again, as of the time of this article, there is a technical test that is currently available for Honkai Star Rail as of the 22nd, or a new character coming. So, if you have a PS5, you want to play Star Rail, now's time. I personally don't care, but I
True.
know there's a lot of people that are. I know there's a lot of people that are into Genshin and Honkai, so more power to you. Lords of the Fallen got a new story trailer. The Souls-like game from CI Games debuted a brief trailer teasing its story. That's all the news we got on that. Sonic Superstars got a multiplayer trailer. There was a trailer for the upcoming 2D Sonic game, showing glimpses at its cooperative gameplay. The title also features plenty of mini-games. Sonic Superstars comes out on October 17th, 3 days before Spider-Man and Super Mario. More Sonic news. Sonic Frontiers, the Final Horizon update. A very brief announcement trailer for the Sonic Frontiers. Sorry, a very brief trailer. Sonic Frontiers announced an upcoming update to the game that will add new story, characters, and challenges. This will be available September 28th. For those who are curious about the characters added, because it was not mentioned in this article, you get Tails, Knuckles, and Amy as playable characters. This is a free update. Excuse me. Losing my voice already. Holy cow. The First Descendant is a third-person looter shooter from Nexon. Got an open beta trailer. An open beta for the game will be held on September 19th through the 25th. The trailer showed off a variety of its characters and giant boss encounters. It's a third-person looter shooter. Doesn't look terrible. We'll see how it goes. Next up, Under the Waves. A new trailer for Under the Waves, a narrative game being published by Quantic Dream, was shown. It depicts some of the stakes for its central protagonist who is spending time alone in an underwater base. That game comes out August 29th of this year. Quantic Dream, I'm going to Google that really quick, but if I am remembering their name correctly, I believe they are the guys Soma, which is a fantastic survival horror. No, not Soma. Never mind. What the fuck am I talking about? They did Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, all that shit.
Oh, so this will be a pretty solid game then.
Maybe. But it looked intriguing. It sounds a lot like Soma, wherein a majority of the game takes place underwater. But it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Fort Solace got a launch trailer. The cast of Fort Solace, who is Troy Baker, Roger Clark, and Julia Brown, took the stage to speak briefly about Fort Solace, a sci-fi narrative game, before debuting the launch trailer for the game. The title is available now, but is unfortunately not reviewing well so far. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, got its debut trailer. A new automotive challenge game from the developers of SnowRunner and Mud Runners was announced, which involves the tricky world of off-road exploration. It appears that the journeys will be a bit more involved this time around, with several tools to help get drive. With several tools to help get drive through rough environments. Let's proofread our articles.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm glad you took a double take on that one too.
Just making sure I wasn't having a stroke. Another racing game, the Crew Motorfest, got a launch trailer. as well as an announcement for a free trial of the game featuring 5 hours of gameplay to take place between the 14th and 17th of September. The Crew Motorfest releases on the 11th of September. So, comes out on the 11th. If you don't want to get it on launch day, you've got a window from the 14th of the 17th next month to play it for 5 hours to figure out if it's for you. Looks like a fun little arcade racer. It's from Ubisoft, so take with that information what you will. But I don't know, could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk 2077 got a Phantom Liberty trailer titled New Ways to Play. A new trailer for the long-awaited Cyberpunk expansion shared a look at all new gameplay features coming to the game alongside the new story, which features Idris Elba. Among the new things shown were weapons, new vehicles, including a vehicular combat system, the overhauled cyberware system, and some of the game's new perks in action. CDPR also announced that many of these features would be implemented into the base game in a 2.0 update for free. Phantom Liberty comes out September 26th. Ugh. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
It's okay.
Stormgate Infernal Host trailer was also dropped. Stormgate is a spiritual successor to RTS games like Warcraft and StarCraft. Developed by many former Blizzard Entertainment employees, it also debuted a new faction in this trailer, which seems to be influenced by the Zerg of StarCraft as it features monstrous creatures. So honestly, being that it's done by a bunch of former Blizzard devs, that one might be one to look out for because it basically sounds like a spiritual successor to those series, which have pretty much been dead for the past couple decades.
And I've wanted a good RTS for a very long time, so I'm okay with this. I'm gonna be paying attention to this a little bit.
True. The Last Epic Rune Master trailer. A representative from the action RPG The Last Epic took the stage to announce a new character class in the game, the Rune Master. I don't know anything about this game, so I won't dwell on it. A couple of games that I do know about. Marvel Snap got a PC version launch and a new cinematic trailer. Ben Brody of Second Dinner took the stage briefly to very excitedly announce the launch of a new revamped version of the excellent card game Marvel Snap for PC on Steam. Previously, this version was essentially just running an emulated version of the mobile app. The announcement came hand in hand with a new cinematic trailer, which is very fun. I have not played that game in a while, mostly because I've fallen off the Marvel bandwagon pretty hard this year. But it's a very solid card game, and I haven't heard a ton of shit about it being uprooted from its core, so the balance patches aren't that bad one way or another. I imagine it's still pretty solid. Speaking of games that I know, Armored Core 6 got a Fires of Rubicon launch trailer. Oh, Fires of Rubicon is the subtitle, excuse me. The launch trailer for Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon was shown. This article says without any fanfare or introduction. So they just kind of threw it in after Marvel Snap and said, here you go, you fucking weebs.
True.
Which is fine. Warhaven got a new trailer, which is a medieval action game developed by Nexon. I don't know a ton about that game either, so I won't dwell on it long, but it looks like a fantasy-style game, if the title Warhaven didn't give it away. Mortal Kombat 1 got a new game. Series creator Ed Boon took the stage to debut a gameplay trailer, giving us a closer look at the story mode and reintroducing series villains Shao Kahn and Sindel as playable characters. We also got a look at the reintroduced Raiden, who is now a mere human rather than a thunder god. The centaur, Motaro, and the elderly Shujinko were also announced to return as cameo characters who can assist the playable characters with call-in attacks. So, kind of think like Tekken Tag Tournament, Dragon Ball Fighters, or Marvel vs. Capcom, but instead of having them as like their own fighters, they just come in and help you wombo combo.
Yes,
Which is pretty
sir.
cool. I kind of like that flair as opposed to having to chip away at multiple health bars.
That's fair.
So, Ara History Untold got a trailer. It is an alternate history 4X and city building game from Xbox Game Studios and Oxide Games. It was given a trailer depicting its flow of gameplay through the ages, set to come in 2024. Doesn't look like my type of game, but if you're into like Civ games, like Civilization 5, Civilization 6, Age of Empires, stuff like that, this looks like a good one for you. Everyone's favorite game, Diablo 4, had its Season 2 announced. Even though Season 1 is still underway, the company debuted a trailer for the next season of the game titled Season of Blood. It will feature actress Gemma Chan, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that, who was in Crazy Rich Asians and The Eternals, playing a vampire hunter called Eris in the new questline. Characters will also get new vampiric powers and hunt vampires. There's a lot of vampires. Fittingly, this is set to debut October 17th. Dustborn got a reveal trailer. It is an intriguing looking contemporary road trip narrative action game called Dustborn, again. It is being published by Quantic Dream and developed by Red Thread Games, who made Dreamfall Chapters. I know who Quantic Dream is, but that's about it. It comes sometime in 2024. The art style looks interesting. It's cel shaded, but
I was gonna say it looks
I
familiar.
don't know.
It looks like what was that one like beat-based combat game that came out?
Oh, Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, that's what it reminds
Yeah.
me of. Yes. Alan Wake 2 looks
Um,
creepy.
huh?
Alan Wake 2, I'm looking at like the thumbnail for the gameplay trailer and it looks a little bit creepy.
Oh, yeah. Um, a game that is sure to be an indie darling in time, called Thank Goodness You're Here, got a little teaser trailer, or a reveal trailer rather. It is being published by Panic, the company responsible for the Playdate handheld console, set to come out sometime next year. I am going to the Steam page description to sell you on this game because it looks so fucking charming. Explore the strange town of Barnsworth in this cheeky comedy slapformer. After arriving early for a big meeting with the mayor of a bizarre northern English town, a traveling salesman takes the time to explore and meet the locals, who are all very eager to give him a series of increasingly odd jobs. Thank Goodness You're Here is a comedy slapformer which unfolds over time as the player's exploration and antics leave their mark on the strange town of Barnsworth. With each completed odd job, new areas of the town open up, stranger and stranger tasks become available, and the clock ticks towards our salesman's big meeting. This town's colorful inhabitants are brought to life with vibrant hand-drawn animation, fully voiced dialogue, and wall-to-wall double entendres. This game is also rated as having mature content, so it is not just like a fun little kiddie CalArts Disney slapstick game.
Beautiful. You've now sold me on this. I'm grabbing it.
So that is set to come out next year.
Where's the collector's edition?
I don't know if we'll be getting that. If we do, it'll be a little after release. But and then finally, to close out opening night of the show. This was just opening night of the show. We got another look at Alan Wake 2, focused on Alan himself. In the sequel, Alan is stuck in the dark place, which has taken the form of a crime fiction story set in New York. The trailer depicts how the game will mix live-action scenes with 3D rendered gameplay to create a surreal, dreamlike effect for the supernatural dimension Alan finds himself in. Alan Wake 2 will be released on October 27th.
They might as well just release it on the 31st.
Yeah, at that point. But that is everything that was announced opening night of Gamescom 2023.
That's fucking wild.
So
Gamescom has officially taken over E3.
E3
E3
is
doesn't
crazy.
exist anymore. It's trash. It's garbage.
So what do you think about all that, Jeff? Is there anything in
Goddamn.
there that caught your attention? Anything you're looking
Um,
forward to?
so Black Myth Wukong, I've been watching teaser bullshit for like the last couple years since it was first debuted
Sure,
with the trailer.
sure.
Still excited for it, but at this point, they're just fucking teasing. At this point, I don't. I'm just gonna keep saying I don't care, so that way I can just live in the copium and I can just like erase it from my mind until it actually releases.
That's kind of how I was with Lies of P until they actually dropped the demo for Lies of P this year, and then it was like, fuck, it's actually happening. And now I'm excited
They
for it.
breed the anticipation. Let's see here. Starfield, obviously, I'm interested to see what they end up doing with
Mm-hmm.
that game. I did see something, I think you might have even put it in here, about how they are gonna let you basically do planet-sized mods and shit like that.
Yeah,
So fully
yeah. No, they
expect,
talked to Phil Spencer about mod support, and it's fucking insane.
yeah. So I'm definitely like interested to see where it goes. I'm hesitant to say excited though, because I don't exactly like Bethesda's track history with games as of like the last fucking almost decade, in all honesty.
I am cautiously optimistic about Starfield.
I'll give you that. Um, let's see here. Killing Floor 3, I'm a little bit interested in that because I do have Killing Floor 2 and it's kind of fun, but I mean the wave after wave of just mindlessly killing zombies gets only so fun. So I'll be curious to see what that looks like. Crimson Desert, obviously, I'm really looking forward to seeing more from that because I'm a big fan of Black Desert. Is it a really big fucking pay to win MMO? Absolutely. Is the combat still fun as shit to play? Absolutely. Let's see here. Tekken 8 and Assassin's Creed Mirage are kind of like, I'll see where it goes with those. I'm not exactly like withdrawn from trying them. It's just I haven't played a Tekken game in probably around a decade, and
Mm.
Assassin's Creed has been kind of dull to say the least for a while now. So, um, Lords of the Fallen, that also sounds interesting. I've been hearing like mixed things about like what it could possibly be and bullshit like that. So, have to wait and see on that one. Um, Motorfest could be fun. I haven't seen anything about it outside of what you've read to me. So, I'm definitely looking for a new racing game to play. So that could be the next one.
True.
The only other ones are obviously I already have Armored Core 6. Fucking love it. Um, Phantom
You beat the first
Liberty.
boss.
Jesus fucking Christ, man! You have no idea. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the fucking helicopter, or are we talking about the bullet hell simulator?
Whichever one, every Dark Souls player in the fucking world is all of a sudden pissed about it being so hard.
That's probably the bullet hell one. And yes, I beat it last
Oh
night
lord.
actually at 1:30 in the morning. I spent
Good God.
7 hours trying to kill that fucking thing in game time.
Oh, I love it.
7 hours.
I love it.
I was going fucking insane, bro. I almost broke my fucking monitor. But it's fine. It's still a fun game. Let's see here. Only other one really on here is probably Mortal Kombat 1 that I was kind of interested in. What about you?
Um, I love Tekken. It's my preferred fighting game out of like the big three, which I equate to be Tekken, Street Fighter, or Mortal Kombat. It was the first one that I had as a kid, so nostalgia, whatever. Like I said, cautiously optimistic for Starfield. Um, Alan Wake looks pretty rad. That indie game that I mentioned looks fucking adorable. Looking forward to jumping into Armored Core here in the coming weeks, though I don't know if it'll be the coming weeks by way of all of the shit that's coming out in the next 2 months and all the shit that I still need to finish. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was excited for more than I wasn't, though, which is
That's true.
crazy considering how long that list of shit was.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Um, but yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an exciting next year. In all honesty, overall, I'd say the list looks pretty strong.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a couple more articles that I've strung in here of other games that announced release dates and shit
mm,
over this week that will be a testament to that.
beautiful. But yeah, no. And also the first Descendant, I forgot to say that. I actually seen a trailer of that earlier today at work when I was eating lunch randomly.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, that looks pretty fun. But obviously trailers can be misleading, so I was like, I'll wait and decide on that. So
Yeah.
going from really hyped news to bored and repeated news about a random ass fuck or about a IP that honestly probably should just be reset. Destiny 2 is apparently ditching seasons for something called episodes amid player burnout. For years now, Destiny 2 has followed a similar pattern: release a big annual expansion, followed by 4 individual seasons with familiar loot grinds and a predictable pace of narrative beats. No longer. After the final shape drops in early 2024, Bungie revealed the game will move to a new structure with bigger but fewer updates throughout the year. Um, the announcement came during today's 2023 Destiny 2 showcase, and it's still not entirely clear how the new system will work. Here's what we do know, however. Instead of 4 seasons a year, players will get 3 episodes. Each episode will span 18 weeks and consist of 3 acts. New story missions, quests, and gear will then be introduced throughout the episode. The first 3 for 2023 are called Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy. It's starting to sound like a Warhammer 40k expansion. Let's see here. Bungie is also promising that the players can jump into episodes in any order they want, making them sound more self-contained than current seasons, which often build off the events in the prior one. Will episodes only last through the year before the content is wiped away, like Bungie does with the current seasonal structure? Is this the same amount of content spread throughout the year more evenly, or fewer updates, 3 instead of 4, in favor of bigger, more impactful ones? Um, the massive shift in the weekly life of Destiny 2 players will arrive after the final shape expansion wraps up the in-game events of the past decade. The first 3 episodes will deal with the fallout from that showdown and almost sound like an epilogue as the Destiny universe figures out the core conflicts that will define the future of its universe. They'll also be arriving as players debate the health and sustainability of Destiny 2 as a live service following a disappointing Lightfall expansion and major criticisms of the sci-fi MMO's pricey microtransactions. Um, Game director Blackburn tried to win back some goodwill from the Destiny community in a very brief personal video released a week prior to the showcase. Among other things, he mentioned Bungie will be putting together a strike team to focus on improving PvP, once a core pillar of the game. He also promised fans a free set of Eververse armor in Season 22, which went live today as of this article. Um, Notably, he said nothing in 2023 showcase was a direct response to recent community backlashes. Episodes may be exactly what Destiny 2 needs to find a better balance between drip feeding out new content and leaving players bored and hungry between each big new update. In the meantime, the bigger conversation around what the future of Destiny can and should be will continue. How do you feel about that, Carter? Do you think that they need to switch it up / deserve to keep the series going?
I've absolutely thought for years, as far as the way they deliver story content, they've needed to switch it up. So I'm happy they seem to be doing that. My major fear is one that they mentioned in the article, which is what's the quality going to look like? What's the consistency going to look like? Is it even going to matter? Is it still going to be there to play in a year? Which has
Yeah,
been my biggest gripe with Destiny since they started sunsetting shit.
that's fair. Because I don't know what exactly went wrong with Lightfall. I'm sure you guys could look up like 1,000 different fucking reviews on Lightfall and why it's trash. I just know it's not good when you see a AAA title's latest expansion go on sale for over 50% off after like a couple weeks of being out.
Yeah,
That's bad.
that's bad.
Or sorry. During the first couple weeks, it was off like 20% off, but that's still insanely bad for
You don't
Steam
put your
standards.
DLC on sale that soon.
Yeah, no, that's fucking insane. How bad the player retention must have been fucking terrible.
Yeah,
So,
you can
I
do
mean,
you can do like a pre-order bonus. And be like, hey, pre-order it and get it 10% off. That's fine.
Yeah,
But
but like 20% off on a regular Steam sale. It wasn't even like a holiday or like a seasonal sale or anything. It
no,
was just
no, it
randomly
was like a
off.
midweek. Yeah, it
Oh,
was like a midweek thing.
so yeah, whatever they're gonna do, they need to start bringing fans back with the final shape. I will say that much. Otherwise, this franchise will not last. It won't last any longer.
Which it's been on life support for 6 years anyway. So
Yeah. They brought people back. I will give them that with Forsaken. But to be fair, you could also argue they used a cheap tactic of killing off Cade 6. But nonetheless, they
it's funny.
brought
Forsaken was the last one that I bought.
yeah. It's just like if Forsaken was solid. All right, it brought back a pretty decent amount of exotics that everyone was missing. It had a decent story, albeit it was kind of cheap and tacky to kill off Cade 6 like that. But nonetheless, they did their thing. It was solid. And then everyone just started dropping off again. Because let's see here. If I go to my Steam and I look up Destiny 2, Lightfall right now is 50 or 60% off. Oh wait, no, that's the Legacy Collection. The Legacy Collection is 60% off, and Lightfall is 50% off. Lightfall plus the annual pass, it costs just as much as the normal expansion is.
That's bad.
Yeah. And I bought the last bundle that I actually bought was it looks like it was Witch Queen, but I never even beat Witch Queen. I don't think I made it through the story, and I don't think I ever played the raid or the strikes. So, so yeah, they need to do something to fix this shit because what they're doing now is not working. The overpriced microtransactions that are getting increasingly more and more predatory, the lack of a actual meaningful fucking story development is needed. Um, fucking, I've heard PvP is an absolute fucking mess. Um,
Yeah.
Strikes are even more irrelevant now. Um, so that's basically just like a dead playlist or just something to just turn your brain off and shoot shit until you finish whatever quests required you to go into it. Nightfalls are starting to get phased out, as far as I'm understanding. It's just they're not on a good path. They're just not. So, and they're gonna need something more than just edgy titles to bring people back. I'm gonna be honest. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
fucking Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy. Jesus. Maybe we'll finally see the giant fucking orb in the sky turn evil. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe it turned into a rightful god.
Video games are bad.
Yes.
Except for the ones I like.
Um. Yeah. So. Speaking of video game things that could very well just turn out bad, PlayStation's first remote play dedicated device called the PlayStation Portable Remote Player will launch later this year at $200.
They were so
Um,
close with this. I'm actually so fucking mad about this.
it actually looks really clean too. I actually like the
It
design.
it does. Yep.
I'm sure
Don't
we're
have
gonna
any
get into
complaints
the
there.
reason why you're saying that though.
Yup.
Did you want to do the honors, Carter? You want to tell us about the
No,
latest
but I
hit
will.
portable console?
Yeah. Here we go. Wait till you see how portable it is. I will skip most of the preamble in this article. So they are building up advertising. Um, since launching PS5, we've been amazed to see how players around the world have embraced the generational leaps we made in the gaming experience, such as the heightened feeling of immersion developed by the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers in the DualSense wireless controller. Our PlayStation community continues to give us a reason to challenge ourselves. New innovations to the market for all players to enjoy. That's why today We are especially pleased to share new updates about our upcoming hardware products. Here are the details. First and foremost, the PlayStation Portal Remote Player. PlayStation Portal Remote Player brings the PS5 experience to the palm of your hand. It includes the key features of the DualSense wireless controller, including adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. The vibrant 8-inch LCD screen is capable of producing 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second, providing a high-definition visual experience that is expected from the high-quality games created by world-class developers. PlayStation Portal, PlayStation Portal is the perfect device for gamers in households where they might need to share their living room TV, simply want another PS5, simply want to play PS5 games in another room of the house. PlayStation Portal will connect remotely to your PS5 over Wi-Fi, so you'll be able to swiftly jump from playing on your PS5 to your PS Portal. PlayStation Portal can only play supported games that are installed on your PS5 console and use the DualSense controller. It also includes a 3.5mm audio jack for wired audio. PSVR 2 games which are required the headset and games that are streamed through PlayStation Plus's premium cloud streaming are not supported. So, to recap, it is a $200 gaming device that is something that connects to the same Wi-Fi that your PlayStation 5 is on, and then plays select PlayStation 5 games that are installed on your hard drive on the same Wi-Fi that you are on.
Huh.
And it is, again, you are streaming this.
That is. So I have a glorified phone.
You are streaming it tethered to the same Wi-Fi in your house. So like essentially what they've said is, and I respect them because it's a niche seeming market, but it is for people who are like, there's multiple people in the family that use TV. This household has children. This household has, the TV is not your TV alone. That is the sole demographic that this comes across as being for. Like even if it were something where they go, yeah, you can do the remote play thing, um, like what Xbox does, where yes, it's based off of your console and they'll use it as like a hub, but you can play it wirelessly anywhere, on your phone, at work, wherever.
I see.
The fact that they do not have that in this is the biggest fucking nerf to this thing that they could have done.
That's fair.
So, as far as the Pulse Elite wireless headset and Pulse Explore wireless earbuds go, um, we'll see how they go. I don't want to say I'm excited for them, but as far as like, if you are looking for a quality brand of headphones or earbuds, especially, I will testify. I'll show a little bit here. I have a pair of the Sony XM4 wireless earbuds, which are like their middle, like not quite luxury, but it's like a fancier headphone. It's a higher price headphone. Um, I have the headphones and the earbuds, and they're both fantastic. They've lasted me, I'm going almost 3 years on this pair of earbuds that I have.
Goddamn.
And then the headphones that I have, albeit I use them sparingly in the earbuds, I've had the headphones for about 5, and they still work great. So, if the Pulse Elite headset or Pulse Explore earbuds are anything to go off of, which the Pulse Explore earbuds, honest to God, it looks like they just took their XM line and kind of recolored them for the PS5 color scheme.
I see.
If either of those are anywhere close to what the Sony XM series are, they'll probably be pretty fucking good headphones or
Fair.
earbuds.
I mean, they did look pretty
So,
comfortable. Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. I
Um,
won't go say like super comfortable because they look kind of like narrow and go a little bit too far into your eardrum or into your ear hole. But
well, and I imagine they'll have different size tips, which is something they've got about 5 or 6 different like, earbud sizes for their other lines. So, um, the Pulse Elite, which is the headset, retails for $150, and the Explore retails for $200. Again, these are fully wireless Bluetooth earbuds. Both of those are pretty common price points for this type of audio quality. Um, and they also have a mic in them, so
Oh, okay.
something to bear in mind with that. They're designed to be headsets for the PlayStation first and foremost.
Fair enough.
So the Pulse Explorers in particular, I'll be kind of interested to see because as they call out here, it is one of the first major attempts to provide wireless earbuds for the gaming community as like a mainstream option. So that'll be interesting. One thing to call out here, um, I'm just kind of skimming this because it wasn't as big as the other one, but Pulse Elite and Explore connect directly with the PlayStation Portal by leveraging this new wireless audio technology, PlayStation Link. The innovation delivers low latency, lossless audio, and easily switching between a PlayStation Link to host. Easily switching between multiple PlayStation Link hosts, such as a PS5 with the USB adapter and PlayStation Portal. When using Pulse Elite and Pulse Explore with the PS5, the USB adapter included with each headset and earbuds is required. PlayStation Link. The Link USB adapter is also sold separately as a standalone item to be used on PC and Mac, so players can connect the Pulse Elite or Explore headphone system to experience the same lossless and low latency audio. They can also simultaneously connect to a PlayStation Link supported device and a Bluetooth supported device. For example, the Pulse Explore, which are the earbuds, can be connected to the PS5 via USB adapter using PlayStation Link and also to a mobile phone through Bluetooth at the same time. While playing on PS5, gamers can instantly answer a call and hear it through the same Pulse Explorer earbuds. So that's a little bit interesting. We'll see how practical it is. But I don't know. They're doing shit. Sony has a pretty good sound department, so we'll see how the earbuds and the headphones play out. As far as the Portal goes, I think it's a waste of R&D time and money.
Hmm. So are you gonna? So you said you already have the earbuds, right? Are those the ones that
So
you're
the
using right
earbuds
now?
that I have are just like Sony's top of the line,
Oh, I see. I see.
like their actual like music earbuds. Like I just have them. They're Bluetooth. They hook up to my phone.
I see.
They're not what I'm using currently. I am using their PS4 headset, the PS4 Silver headset. Just because I'm too lazy to plug in my Blue Yeti. But
Fair enough. Yeah, no,
I need
that
to get more
seems like
headsets.
a fairly niche uh, market, but you know what? If it works out, and honestly, I like the look of it. It honestly looks really
Yeah,
cool.
no, the like visually, aesthetically, they're fine, but I would say out of the three, I'm probably only looking forward to the earbuds.
That's fair.
I'm not a very big like headset. I
No.
don't like the way they feel over me.
Like they also look like they're like pleather or whatever you want to call it, and I fucking hate headphones
Yeah,
like that because they start
yeah,
making my ears sweat like crazy.
yeah. There's a little bit of that too.
It's no bueno, no bueno.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, let's see. Moving on to the next one. What is this? Dark Forces Remaster announced for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. Night Dive Studios, who recently remastered a classic first-person game System Shock and Quake 2, is doing the same to another first-person legend, Star Wars Dark Forces. It is in development for all major platforms, which I just listed above, which you can watch the announcement trailer on this article. Um, the single-player only Star Wars FPS first released in '95 for PC and was the first adventure for players as Kyle Katarn, who would go on to become a Jedi in Jedi Knight and its sequels. You don't ever get your hands on a lightsaber in Dark Forces, but it's remembered fondly for its memorable missions and difficult boss fights. I think the audience will appreciate the degree of challenge Night Dive's Larry Cooperman told IGN. The remaster cleans up the 28-year-old Dark Forces gameplay and cutscenes similar to how Night Dive approached the recent Quake 2 remaster with its in-house KEX engine, thus allowing modern controls and features like 4K resolution, widescreen support. The original was in an old 4:3 aspect ratio days with 1024 by 768 resolution and 60 FPS. Um, what we really try to do is bring back the way you felt when you played the original, Cooperman said. That's our mission, he added. Our mantra is always about preservation, and you don't preserve things by changing them. It'll be interesting to see how it compares to the recent 4K fan-made remaster. Cooperman also told IGN that Dark Forces remaster will be popularly priced, which he suggested would mean somewhere between $20 to $30. And while Dark Forces was the first Star Wars FPS, the latest Star Wars FPS, which is nothing known, though it's unlikely to have any connection to Dark Forces, as Dark Forces slash Jedi Knight came before the canon reset when Disney took over the franchise, is in development with Respawn Entertainment, makers of the excellent Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. Carter, did you ever play this as a kid, man?
I did a little bit at my baby's because her kids had it, and it goes pretty hard. It's basically like playing an old school Doom mod. So
Oh, okay.
it's I hate using this term for these kind of games, but it's pretty much Star Wars skin boomer shooter. So
Beautiful.
it's a pretty good time.
We like to hear it. Yeah, I know nothing about this game. I've never played it.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, these cutscenes are insane.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
it's
shit.
of its time.
Gameplay looks very interesting. Huh. Might actually have to look into it. It looks kind of fun.
It is fun.
Um, let's see. But yeah, no. So for people that like these old boomer shooters, this might be right up your alley. So moving on to a more modern FPS. Lara Croft is coming to the one and only Call of Duty series. Today, Call of Duty ramped up its recent trend of Fortnite-esque pop culture crossovers by announcing that Tomb Raider's Lara Croft will be coming to the game. She joins the Terminator as one of the few characters to appear in both Epic's popular Battle Royale and Activision's military shooter series. Um, Call of Duty unveiled the crossover in a post from its official Twitter account, which showcased a silhouette of Lara standing inside a cave with her classic dual pistols in hand, watching soldiers parachute into a smoking city. It was accompanied by the caption "Pistols ready, prepared for drop-in. Lara Croft is coming to Call of Duty at 2." Let's see. Lara Croft is just the latest famous face to make her way to Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 following appearances last month from rappers 21 Savage, Nicki Minaj, and Snoop Dogg. While no specific details have yet been revealed, players will likely have to purchase some kind of COD bundle in order to play Lara Croft once she is officially debuted in the game. Lara has seen many incarnations across decades since she first plundered her way into the scene in 1996. The latest mainline Tomb Raider game was 2018 Shadow of Tomb Raider, which I played on stream, and it was pretty solid overall. The only thing I fucking hated was how often Lara Croft was incredibly entitled, where she would get herself into trouble and then expect her friends to get her out of it, or would get upset when they would point out that she brings her own fucking misery, essentially. Um, but the conclusion to a reboot trilogy that offered a new origin story for the adventurer. In our review, we said, for all its adherence to the series dogma, a good chunk of Shadow of the Tomb Raider feels improperly fresh in a familiar setting and familiar mechanics, and invites players to explore a familiar set of story in a different, more thoughtful way. The fate of the Tomb Raider series was unclear following Square Enix's sale of both developer Crystal Dynamics and the Tomb Raider license itself last year. However, last December, developer Crystal Dynamics and Amazon Games announced that they are making a new Tomb Raider game. While any details about the game, including its name, have yet to be unearthed, what we do know is that the game will be a single-player, narrative-driven adventure like the others, and it'll also likely be made in Unreal Engine 5, so it'll look pretty. So,
Yep.
ignoring the Call of Duty part, because we don't really give a shit about that, Carter, do you want to see another Tomb Raider game?
I do, but honestly, I'd be down, and this is just the fucking nostalgia boomer in me talking.
Yeah,
I would be happy to see it get a Crash Bandicoot or Spyro style, just complete remaster of like the classic PS1 games.
I see.
PS1, PS2, like Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2, and then fuck whatever the first PS2 one was. But I don't know. For as much as I liked that whole reboot franchise from 2013 up until whatever you said that last one was, it was fine, but it really just felt like Uncharted to me.
I see.
Which, I mean, they were kind of toeing the line with one another anyway, but it really feels like the reboot series just kind of leaned into that harder than I would have liked.
That's fair. I would have liked them to like try and differentiate it a little bit instead of trying to make like a direct, not carbon copy, obviously, because there's a difference, but
Yeah. Well,
try
I
to
mean,
make
it had
something
open
to
world
make it stand
elements in
out
it
more.
too, but like, fuck, I don't know. I like the old ones so much because they were just like old school puzzle platformers, and a lot of the puzzle solving kind of had a Zelda feel that I really enjoyed.
That's fair. That is fair.
But that's why I bought Tomb Raider Anniversary for $1 when it was on Steam sale.
God damn. That's one hell of a steal.
True.
But yeah. Moving on to a quick little snippet. So apparently, a new Atari 2600 console with an HDMI has emerged, and it runs original cartridges and comes complete with wood grain, ridges, and switches. Let's see. The Atari 2600 is back as the historic video game brand just announced a revamped version of the 70s console. While companies like Retron and Act Games already offer a way to play classics like Missile Command and Yara's Revenge, this created system is compatible with its original cartridges and vastly more authentic than any other imitation. Released back in '77, the original 2600 is pretty iconic. Sure, it's not as beloved as the Nintendo Entertainment System, and you might struggle using an original console with a modern gaming TV in 2023. Nevertheless, it's an important piece of gaming history, and if you're itching to play some retro games from childhood, the company's brand new version looks like it'll provide that authentic experience. Um, Dubbed the 2600 Plus, the reimagined console is a joint venture between the brand and PlayOn, the company that operates developer Deep Silver. The new version is substantially smaller than the original, but is still wearing the same wood grain front panel, top ridges, and metal switches. Around the back of the also looks surprisingly similar, but its 9-pin joystick ports are now accompanied by an HDMI output rather than old RF connector. Don't get me wrong, it's not impossible to tune in a retro system to even the newest of TVs, and I still do it to this day, but it'd take HDMI over staticky temperamental image quality any day of the week. Other shiny new Atari 2600 Plus features included a widescreen mode, just in case you can't stand 4x3 letterboxing, and a glowing front logo, but one of the most useful changes relates to its cartridge slot. While it'll enable you to play both 2600 and 7800 carts, the slot has been enlarged slightly to prevent any sticking, meaning you won't have to wrestle with it when swapping games. Let's see here. It's worth noting that 2600 Plus isn't the first modern Atari compatible system to feature an original cartridge slot. As a Hyperkin, Retron 77 can also run original games. However, I'll need to get my hands on one to pass judgment on its build quality and gaming performance. 2600 Plus certainly looks the part compared to the other third-party devices. As for the cost, the 2600 Plus will set you back $129.99, which feels a tad pricey for a console that exclusively runs old games. That said, the package contains a 10-in-1 multi-cart and a CX40 Plus joystick that's seemingly identical to the original. So you won't have to pick any additional add-ons to dive into your favorite old games. According to the specs on the official product page, the console wields a Rockchip 3128 SoC microprocessor, 256 megabytes of DDR3 RAM, which is insane, okay, considering the time, and a 256 megabyte eMMC storage. However, the company's choice of chips suggests we're looking at standard emulation rather than FPGA. The same tech used within devices like the Analog Pocket. That's not necessarily a deal breaker, but I'll take it for a spin to test whether it produces the same results as the original. How you feel about that, Carter? You gonna pick this bad boy up?
Probably not, but it's cool that it exists. It's a fun little novelty thing. Um, one thing that I saw that was interesting is I don't know if it's like something that they're doing intentionally or if it was just a conveniently timed ad I saw from one of the gaming deal sites that I follow. But I believe, barring more fact checking, they are doing some reproductions of Atari 2600 cartridges to supplement the release of this console,
I see.
which I thought was kind of cool.
Fair enough.
Not that they're necessarily hard to get, but fuck, it's at a point now. Like they said in that article, this console came out in the 70s, so it'd be a fucking miracle if any of them ran at all,
Mm-hmm.
being that old. So,
True, true,
but
true.
yeah, fun little throwback console if you want to play E.T. or Pitfall or
See,
fucking
now
Pac-Man.
I didn't have a 2600. I had, oh, I think I had a Super Nintendo at one point. Um, Obviously a Nintendo 64 and a GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were like the oldest consoles that I ever had. The rest of them were handhelds. I had a PS2 for a little bit, but it broke. So,
Damn.
yeah, no. Shit be unfortunate sometimes. So, but yeah. So, let's see here. Oh, we were actually talking about this earlier. So, No Man's Sky came out with a new
Yeah.
update, I believe, last week. All right, called Echoes. All right, added a bunch of cool shit. Okay, the latest
As they do.
update for its 7-year-old space exploration game, No Man's Sky. Echoes, which launched the 24th, adds a new robotic race, the first race introduced to No Man's Sky since its launch back in 2016. Hello Games has also overhauled space combat, introducing freighter-to-freighter battles for the first time ever. Um, Players will discover a never-before-seen long-hidden race of robots. You will get to take on robot assignments and rituals to earn mechanical parts to create your own robotic avatar. You'll also need to defend fleets from pirates in huge space battles and get to fly through enemy trenches to sabotage their shields before blowing up the pirate freighters. Elsewhere, you can assemble your own sci-fi ceremonial staff and level it up with new tech to mine and battle with. The new holographic museum lets you decorate and display your discoveries in your base for others to see. PlayStation VR 2 players should notice an improvement in rendering quality, while on Nintendo Switch performance improvements and a new anti-aliasing solution makes visuals crispier on a big screen and in handheld. Hello Games said, which they have some screenshots here that look pretty cool. Game looks gorgeous as ever. Look a little bit nomadic. Pretty cool. Got a big ass sandworm just chilling up in the air. But yeah. Carter, you said something about No Man's Sky earlier. You gonna be jumping in and taking a peek at this?
I'm trying to find them right now. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like a broken record whenever this game gets brought up, but It's my favorite example of a game studio turning shit around,
True.
much to the benefit of anyone that's still playing it. There is a ton of shit to love. I believe it's also on sale right now on GOG. So if you're looking for it, I think it's like $30 right now. Not sponsored or anything, but they tend to run a sale on it somewhere every time they drop a major update out of nowhere like this, which is usually how they do it, and it never doesn't catch me off guard. Like I'm waiting for the day where they're like, "We're working on this thing. We'll have." It's never that. It's we've been working on a new thing. It's going live in an hour, which still blows my mind that they're able to crank shit out like that
Pretty
because they've
impressive.
been doing it like this for years.
Well, when you got
But
to
it
make it up
looks.
to your community, you got to do it in a
Yeah,
fantastic
but I
fashion.
feel like they did. Like I'm not mad.
But now they're still pushing the
But
envelope, dude.
yeah, like very much so.
They're just
But
like, we ain't done yet.
yeah, and then I like they kind of called out as far as visual improvement. I don't necessarily see one on my base PS5, but fuck, it looks. Or I mean, one from this recent update on my PS5, but the game hasn't aged today.
Fair enough.
It's beautiful.
Still looks gorgeous.
Still looks gorgeous. Runs 60 frames with ray tracing on PS5, from what I can tell. So
Goddamn.
fidelity is no issue.
I like to hear that. I like it a lot. But yeah. Um so enough gushing about No Man's Sky. Carter, why don't you tell us about your Persona 3 remake?
Yeah. So, Persona 3 Remake, Persona 3 Reload, which is the title, had its release date confirmed. Where previously it was announced for an early 2024 release, we have now confirmed it is launching February 2nd of next year. Um, they also showed off some more stuff. Persona 3 Reload revamps the original's graphics while making it available on modern platforms. It also adds new songs to the soundtrack, quality of life improvements like the ability to control your party, which was not in the base game, and other improvements. It does not, however, include the storyline featuring the female protagonist from Persona 3 Portable, to the chagrin of some fans, which I don't know. I'm either way on. But IGN had a hands-on opportunity to go with Persona 3 Reload. They appreciated its myriad of improvements on top of its sheer availability. While Persona 3 recently made its way to modern consoles, it was limited. It was the limited handheld version that lacked elements like a fully explorable map. In that respect, Reload is a sizable step forward for the series. Persona 3 was first released in North America in 2007. Yada yada yada. Gushes about Persona a little bit, which I already do, so I won't bore you with that. Persona 3 is slated to release on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC.
Beautiful.
In addition to that, they have unveiled the Collector's Edition, which I have absolutely pre ordered, as I do with every Persona game that comes out, except for the PS3 release of 5, because I am not triple dipping on a fucking game like that. I already bought it twice. I don't care what new shit you throw in.
I mean, you say that, but
And
then again, how many times have you bought Binding of Isaac?
that's different, though. It's not a full retail game. Well, in its current state, it is a full retail game. At the time I bought them, it was a full retail price game. When I first started buying multiple copies of Isaac, it was back when it was still selling for 15 or $30
Fair enough.
before its massive content tripling updates. Let me pull up my Amazon list so I can go through what's in this pre-order, because you bet your ass I pre-ordered the deluxe edition.
Jesus.
I say a second time. Um, so collector's edition. It is currently selling for $200 to $250, I believe, depending on what platform you go for. Modern platforms are a little bit pricier just because of modern console tax. You get the base game. All pre-orders get a set of Persona 4 Golden background music, so just some more OST, which they've started doing recently in the last couple games, and I appreciate it, where they throw in just kind of the retro soundtracks to have play or swap out for the stuff in the game. Um, you also get a 2-disc soundtrack featuring songs from, I believe it's hard to tell with the way they present this, but it may just be stuff that they wrote for Reloaded. So songs for this remaster. You get an art book, you get a collector's box, and you get a statue of Igus, who is a major figure in the game. Um, you get the game itself, which currently doesn't appear to have a steelbook. I'm a little bit bummed about that. I'm hoping they change their tune on that between now and February. And then you get a Persona 3 Reload DLC pack voucher, which includes all DLC available at launch, which from the looks of things is alternate costumes for the cast to dress them up like the Phantom Thieves from Persona 5. You also get all of their respective, or the protag respective personas, both in their base and ultimate form, which is something else that they did with Persona 5 and Persona 5R. So, not a ton of new stuff there. It's kind of, I don't know, as far as the recent Persona DLC and special feature stuff go, they kept it pretty meat and potatoes, but they also didn't need to go all that out for it. So,
Beautiful.
like I said, collector's editions are currently sold out on Amazon, so people are fucking buying them. But
Very nice. Very nice.
myself included. But
Beautiful.
that's the big one. Like I said, people have been playing it at these recent shows they've been doing the last few weeks. That's been going pretty well. I didn't really see enough news about it to post an article about it, but people have also started doing hands-on impressions from Persona 5 Tactica, which is the strategy RPG set to launch in November on all major platforms. That is also reviewing surprisingly well. A lot of people didn't expect it to work out as well as it does. So, um, a lot of big shit for Persona fans in the.
Fantastic. I know y'all been starving for a while now.
Yeah, yes and no.
Um, but yeah, so Persona 3, folks, get your pre-orders in.
True.
Moving on to the next one. Talking a little bit about Baldur's Gate today, because why wouldn't we? You know. So Larian Studios has announced that it's found a way to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox Series X and S to players, and that the game will still be able to make it onto the platform this year. Quote, super happy to confirm that after meeting Phil Spencer yesterday, we found a solution that allows us to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox players this year still, something we've been working towards for quite some time, explained Larian founder Sven Vink. He went on to explain the solution. Xbox Series X consoles will have the split screen feature while it won't be available on the Series S. However, all of the hotfixes and improvements implemented so far will be in the Xbox version. Additionally, there will be cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox Series versions. Larian previously said that it had issues developing the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 due to Xbox Series S hardware, and specifically that the studio was struggling to get split-screen co-op to run on it. Microsoft even sent engineers to work with Larian on resolving the problem as well. Xbox's Phil Spencer has also insisted that the games run on both Xbox Series X and S consoles, and that Microsoft will learn from the situation surrounding Baldur's Gate 3. It's one of the biggest games of the year, and Microsoft certainly didn't want to miss out on it, giving PlayStation a de facto console exclusive for such a monumental release. Baldur's Gate 3 is already out on PC and is set to launch on September 6th on PS5. Larian Studios said that it will come to Xbox Series X/S sometime in 2023, but didn't provide an exact release date just yet. In IGN's 10 out of 10 Baldur's Gate 3 review, we said with crunchy tactical RPG combat, a memorable story with complex characters, highly polished cinematic presentation, and a world that always rewards exploration and creativity, Baldur's Gate 3 is the new high watermark for CRPGs. How do you feel about that, Carter? You excited for their W?
Yeah, I've personally kind of think it's a dumb rule to expect games to run the same on two different sets of hardware, which, despite Xbox saying they're not, they are. Um, so to see that they are not throwing away free money, which is what they would be doing by making them continue to uphold that stupid standard, is a huge win for them and for gamers.
True.
The only thing that I see kicking it in the ass at this point is that it comes out this year, which is also when Starfield comes out.
Fair enough.
Because if that one does well, then I don't think a lot of Xbox players are going to care about it,
No, not at all.
which is unfortunate. And I don't necessarily say I'm not saying I want that, but logistically speaking, it's going to be a tough one to beat.
It's fair. Um, quick little thing. Rick and Morty season 7 has had their release date announced, which it will be October of this year, ahead of its premiere on Adult Swim. I didn't know if you wanted to go in depth on this or not, Carter.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to call out. I'm still pretty surprised that this did not get pushed back to next year in light of all of the Justin Roiland news, which we've covered the last few months. Um, they did not unveil, like, they haven't really said or shown off anything about the new voice actor. So people are still kind of in the dark about that, which I find interesting. I'm curious to see how they manage to play that one off when the time comes. But
Fair.
um, other than that, yeah, uh, more Rick and Morty. They aren't slowing down for no one. That's it.
Okay. Let's see here. Another quick note is after announcing it was coming to Nintendo Switch a year ago, de novo, the anti-piracy software is now available on the Nintendo Switch. In a press release, Irdeto said uh, that Switch developers and publishers can now access the protection software in the Nintendo Developers Portal. Specifically, the first tool it rolled out is Nintendo Switch Emulator Protection, which protects games launching on Nintendo's hybrid console from piracy. Even if a game is protected, and there's an even if a game is protected against piracy on its PC version, the version released on Nintendo Switch can be emulated from day one and played on PC, therefore bypassing the strong protections offered on the PC version, the press release reads. This can happen with any of the numerous games available on Nintendo Switch. The ethics and legality of video game emulation are regularly discussed topics in the industry, yet Nintendo has remained consistent in its stance against emulation. More recently, Nintendo was involved in blocking the release of a well-known open-source GameCube and Wii emulator, Dolphin, on Steam. Um, Other incidents of Nintendo cracking down on emulation include the company issuing multiple DMCA takedown requests to GitHub after a tool used for Switch emulation called LackPick was being hosted on the website. More notably, the infamous hacker Gary Bowser, who was part of the Nintendo hacking group selling illegal ROMs, was released from prison early but still owes millions to Nintendo due to his previous illegal activities. How do you feel about that, Carter?
Uh, I don't know.
You don't
It
know?
depends on how available the games become in the coming years, or how easy they are to play in the years following the Switches.
I see.
Phasing out and delisting process, all that fun stuff. But
True.
we'll see.
Quite true. Me personally, when it comes to emulation, I'm usually against it up until a certain point when the specific publisher or the company just refuses to either update it or put it on other consoles or basically make it impossible to get a hold of it any other way. An example would be for the 3DS eShop. There's pretty much no games that you can buy on there anymore or anything. So it's just like I can't really blame people for wanting to get their hands on it a different way. So emulation is usually the way to go. But on like an average note, then no, you probably shouldn't be, emulating games that are brand new because
Oh my
you're just yes, Carter.
I'm sorry. No, I forgot to mute when I said that. I found a fucking beautiful planet in No Man's Sky. Like I came down, there was like a double rainbow in the sky, and now it's just
Double
like a fucking
rainbow.
like legitimately. And now it's just a fucking beautiful jungle. Oh, this is it. This is my week.
This guy's just like, all right, I'm set. I'm playing this for the next week, hands down.
Yup.
Beautiful. Um. Oh no. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Todd Howard, the game's director of Elder Scrolls 6, also often wonders if the announcement was too early. You fucking think. The highly anticipated game was announced in E3 of 2018 with a brief teaser trailer which confirmed it was in pre-production at Bethesda Game Studios. I would like to clarify this quote-unquote teaser trailer was literally them just showing a generic landscape and them just like rolling up a panel that says Elder Scrolls 6. That's it, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's in
Just,
development.
yeah. So, however, Bethesda also revealed Starfield at the same event, and the sci-fi RPG was ahead of the fantasy one in its release pipeline. Following several days, Starfield will arrive on September 6th, and Elder Scrolls 6 will be the studio's next flagship game ahead of Fallout 5. Asked if he regrets Elder Scrolls 6 being announced so long ago, Howard told GQ, I have asked myself that a lot. I don't know. I probably would have announced it more casually. What?
More casually?
I think I think that's as casually as you can get in a PR standpoint outside of just like making a quick side note of it when you have the mic and then moving on.
Yeah. No, like you made a power
Like you
like it was gonna come out in three.
yeah, and spoiler alert, it hasn't.
It has not.
Let's see here. Continuing on, commenting on what he'd like to achieve with the game, Howard said, it's like I don't want to answer, but I want to be polite. I will say that we want it to fill the old role of the ultimate fantasy world simulator, and there are different ways to accomplish that given the time that has passed. Howard said that in June of 2021 that Elder Scrolls 6 was still in relatively early planning stages and that it would benefit from the studio's work on Starfield. The new Starfield technology, Creation Engine 2, is sort of built for both games. It's like a new tech base, he told the Telegraph. The vast majority of our development work is on Starfield right now, but everybody works on everything so that the projects kind of just intertwine. It's good to think of the Elder Scrolls 6 as still being in a design phase, but we're checking the tech. Is this going to handle the things we want to do in that game? Every game will have some new suites of technology. So ES6 will have some additions onto, or will add some additions onto Creation Engine 2 that game is going to require. Um, and in 2021, or in November of 2021, Howard said he wished Bethesda could release Elder Scrolls 6 sooner than planned, while explaining why the game was still years away. Speaking to IGN in an interview published to coincide with the 10th anniversary of the last mainline series entry, uh, Skyrim, or the Elder Scrolls 6, or Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, Howard admitted that the extended wait between franchise releases was not ideal. However, he said Skyrim's enduring popularity, it's now sold over 60 million copies, according to Howard, and the 2014 launch of ZeniMax's Elder Scrolls Online meant the franchise remained healthy and had enabled Bethesda to branch out and try new things like Starfield. Quote, would you plan to have the kind of gap we're having between Skyrim and the Elder and follow-up? I can't say that's a good thing. Howard admitted, I wish I could wave a wand and the game we want to make and we have or haven't started things on just came out. Absolutely, but there's other things we want to do, right? Obviously, Fallout 4 was a huge success. We spent a lot of time on that, and we wanted to go into online with Fallout 76. I wish you had it. We felt doing something like Starfield, we wanted to do something else for a long time and play in a new universe. Well, if not now, I'm going back in time. We started it right after Fallout 4, so 2015, slash the end of it. If not now, when? I felt like the when. If we didn't do it then, the when could be never. We felt it pretty good with where Elder Scrolls was as a franchise, particularly with Elder Scrolls Online. That now was the time that we could do something with Starfield, how we continue. That being said, everything takes longer than we would like as well, but we want to make sure that we get it right. Hopefully, Elder Scrolls 6, you don't want to say, hey, that it's worth that kind of wait, but it does stand up to the series as it has been a really long, or it has been in a really big and impactful way for when it comes out. How do you feel about that explanation, Carter?
Not great, but we're not getting a different one. So
Fair enough.
it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is. But
I am curious to see how, like they called out, I'm interested to see how they integrate the Starfield technology into future games.
what do you mean?
But just like how they integrate the stuff that they're building for this game into like their other stuff, character
Oh, I see.
creator,
I see what you're saying.
background stuff.
I see what you're
But
saying. But I don't know. I don't. At this point, I guess I'm just kind of like indifferent about how long they're taking. They're taking as
mm,
long as they are. I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about it. It's just one of those things where
I
it's like
mean,
it'll be out.
yeah,
It'll
it'll
be
be
out
out
when
when
it's
it's
out,
out
I
at this point,
guess.
which
I'm
is
not happy
annoying.
about it.
But
Definitely not happy about it. But I mean, I can't exactly like rush them or anything, unfortunately, as much as I would love to, because
yeah,
I kind of want the game to come out so I can play an even better version of fucking Skyrim. But
ideally.
you know, it it sucks, but we just kind of have to suck it up and just find some other game to pass the time on until it comes out.
Yeah, like Skyrim.
Yeah, don't forget the anniversary edition, dude. Right?
How could I?
Exactly. Um, moving on. Let's see here. Phasmophobia delayed on console following fire incident in developer's office building. Kinetic Games has announced that it is delaying the console launch of its ghost hunting horror title Phasmophobia following the outbreak of a fire in the studio's office building. Um, First and foremost, we'd like to thank you all for your support and that you are just as excited as we are for the first console release. Read a message posted to the game's official Twitter/X account. Due to a recent fire incident in our office building, unpredicted development issues, our ability to test and develop has been significantly impacted. Let's see here. In June earlier this year, Kinetic Games revealed that the Xbox Series X/S, PS5, and PSVR 2 versions of the game were also on the way, with a planned release window of August. Sadly, recent unfortunate developments have forced Kinetic Games to push back Phasmophobia's console release a number of weeks. After careful consideration, we have made the tough decision to delay the console release initially set for August while we get everything sorted. To continue the post, we are now aiming for a special launch during the week leading up to Halloween this October. Um, Kinetic Games recently launched its Ascension update for the PC version of Phasmophobia, which brought a range of improvements to the game, including significant changes to the progression system, new unlocks, a prestige system, and more. Carter, have you played Phasmophobia?
Nope.
No. You ever thought about playing Phasmophobia?
Not really. It was one of those that was like being jammed, throw it all pass and see if the hype's still there.
Fair. I'll give you that. Yeah, I My sister tried to get me to play it a couple different times, and I was like,
Yeah.
eh, kinda, maybe. I might play it at some point. We'll see.
Kind of married.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's unfortunate for them, and I hope that there's no more setbacks. Because as much as I'm not necessarily like interested in it, I have heard good things about it, and the last thing I really want to see is a good developer, go down literally in flames.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. Hope they get everything sorted, and I hope they have a really good release date. Speaking or going back a little bit to Starfield, and a little bit more in depth on what we were talking about before. Starfield mods can include entire planets, so expect the Death Star in no time at all. Bethesda publishing boss Pete Hines has been teasing that what kind of modding Starfield allows, and it's looking pretty lofty. As part of an interview with the Bethesda Twitch channel, Hines looks ahead to Starfield's launch with excitement over what the modding community will get up to. When you start to think of the kind of communities that come around Bethesda Game Studios games and putting a tool like that in the hands of people to go, how'd you like to make that a planet? Uh, how do you like to make a planet? He says all of that is going to be off the charts when you start getting a community to come in and add all of the different things that they want to bring to it. Build your own stories they want to tell, whatever it is. Hines very much has the right of it. Skyrim has largely endured due to the ownership fans have taken over it by adding the new content they fancy seeing, whereas Fallout 4 is no slouch either regarding the sorts of things you can install. Starfield promises vast space players can explore, so we can only imagine what players will do in a quest to fill all that. Space. We give it a few months before Starfield essentially becomes a Star Wars game's Death Star included. With Starfield so close to launch, and other prominent figures from Xbox and Bethesda have also been doing the rounds to talk about the upcoming game. Phil Spencer says Starfield is more Oblivion than Skyrim, though Todd Howard's not sure everyone will like Starfield's approach to exploration because it's so different from other Bethesda games. So, how do you feel about that, Carter? I know we talked a little bit about modding and stuff.
Um, I think it's really going to come down to how accessible the mod tools are, how easy it is for people to figure them out, um, and then kind of how willing they are to figure them out around the base game. I think if the base game ends up being a buggy, janky mess like the last two Bethesda games are or have been, it's going to put people off of that for a few months, if not altogether,
True.
especially in today's gaming climate. Um, so I don't know. We will see. I don't want it to be bad by any means, but
You never
I don't know.
know.
I do think the concept of someone recreating the Death Star in that game engine is very enticing.
True. I'll give you that. Sounds pretty funny. Very ha ha.
Very for to meme.
Yes. Let's see here. Moving on to another little tidbit. Armored Core 6 top Steam chart overtakes BG3 thanks to Elden Ring. Knocking RPG darling BG3 out the chart, top spot. Armored Core 6 has delivered on the hype with explosive sales in the first 24 hours. Never underestimate the insatiable appetite gamers have for giant robot battles. That appetite has propelled Armored Core 6 to the top spot on Steam's global sales charts more than a decade after the last numbered entry in the series that was released, knocking Baldur's Gate 3 off the top spot. In a summer filled with huge releases, few could have predicted that Armored Core 6 would have been able to find such a large audience. The phenomenal success of last year's Elden Ring certainly didn't hurt. Speaking to GameIndustry.biz, Bandai Namco Europe CEO Arnaud Muller explained that Elden Ring has given From Software a guarantee of quality among fans, which, I mean, I can't blame them for that. Um, Bandai Namco, which publishes the series, explains that its ambitions are not on par with Elden Ring, but are way bigger than previous Armored Core games. However, the success of Armored Core 6 shouldn't be attributed solely to some From Software's previous titles. As we mentioned in our Armored Core 6 review, the latest installment is among the best in the Armored Core series and remains remarkably true to the series' roots. Um, Still debuting at the top of the charts is a huge achievement for a series that hasn't had a huge entry since 2013's Armored Core Verdict Day, which I played a little bit and it was alright. I don't remember much from it. I just remember playing it quite a bit. Um, let's see. While From Software has become best known for the Dark Souls and Elden Ring, um, Armored Core has or was a huge part of what established the developer as a producer of quality games. Whether it can hold the top spot against Starfield, which is already ranking at number 4 ahead of its September 6th release, perhaps unlikely, but the hype around Armored Core 6 is nevertheless impressive. By all accounts, Armored Core 6 requires practice, patience, and a careful eye on your equipment if you want to reach the end of its story. If you're looking for the best Armored Core 6 builds to try when you get your hands on the game, the article actually has a guide ready and waiting to prepare you for battle. We also have a full list of all the Armored Core 6 parts, Armored Core 6 weapons, and endings for you to peruse. Which I would recommend that you don't like spoil the endings for yourself, specifically because there are split decisions that you can make based on what missions you decide to actually grab. And on top of that, the more or each new game plus will actually add additional missions and choices as well. And on top of that, there is also a hidden Moonlight Greatsword esque blade in the game as well that you can find.
Gaming.
Yes. So, um, like I was talking about earlier, the game is fun. There is a skill check boss, just like in other Dark Souls games, so be prepared to be stuck on it for a very long time. Do not be like
Get
the other people
good.
that expect a From Software game to not be as hard as routinely what From Software makes their games. Please.
Get good.
Literally. That's all you gotta do. I did it, you can do it. Simple as that. Um, but yeah, so good game, would highly recommend. And then the last little snippet that we found, or that Mr. Carter over here found for us, was apparently Alan Wake 2 has been delayed on PS5 to avoid going neck to neck with Spider Man 2. How do you feel about that, Carter? Do you think it makes sense?
Yeah, it's a smart idea. There's a lot that have been doing that this year, and I'm very happy to see it rather than taking the EA approach and just letting them be buried by whatever the other game is.
Yep, and then complaining that sales weren't good enough.
Cough, cough, Titanfall 2, cough.
Yep. Still
Mm,
can't believe they let that fucking franchise essentially burn and crash because they were too ignorant and too arrogant to think that they could outmatch Battlefield.
pretty epic.
Absolutely insane, bro. So, that was the last article that I found that I really wanted to talk about. You got anything else you want to say, Carter?
Uh, there was one tweet from Edmund McMillan, creator of games like Binding of Isaac, Super Meat Boy, who is working on his next game, Eugenics, coming out the first half of next year is the current target goal, so within the next 6 or 8 months. Um, he just does like little QA sessions on Twitter where he has time, just to ask him about stuff, and someone asked him about his upcoming game. I've ran it about a couple of times. Um, it's a roguelike, but instead of playing like the Binding of Isaac, it's more of a Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem type game where you breed cats in your home base, and then based on how you breed and what traits you pass down, you're creating different classes of cats with different spills or different spells and skill sets, and just kind of building the ultimate cat warrior. Um, and they also age, so you're not necessarily guaranteed a win or like endless wins once you have them, because it's the more they They die. Super complex, super nuanced. There's a ton of fucking inner working systems that on his Steam page, which you should go wishlist the game because it looks hype and it's coming out on all major platforms. All that to say, one of the questions somebody asked him is whether or not it is getting a shorter life support like smaller projects, or if it is expected to get long-term dev support post-launch like The Binding of Isaac did. For those who are not familiar with the man's work, most of his smaller games are lucky to get more than a couple of updates over the course of their lifetime. The game Legend of Bumbo that he put out a couple years ago only got like one or two major fixes. There was never any DLC or like post-launch content. Whereas The Binding of Isaac Rebirth came out in 2014, and it got its final major content update back in 2021, and is actually currently working on getting a online co-op feature slated for. So that's a almost 10-year dev cycle for an indie game. Someone asked him if they are expecting a longer support cycle like The Binding of Isaac, or if it's going to be shorter like Bumbo. He said that Mugenics is going to be his next Isaac in terms of future support and DLC. After having worked on its development for 4 years, excuse me. After working on its development for 4 years, I feel like we are just scratching the surface of its potential. I highly expect Mugenics to become my next Isaac in future support DLC. So, I don't know if you're looking for a giant indie game to become a fucking forever game for you that you play endlessly. Um, if Isaac is not your speed, and you want something a little more laid back and strategic, highly recommend Mugenics. I'm probably plugging that a lot here this months until I inevitably become a Mugenics streamer.
I like it.
So that's all I got. My voice is fucking shot.
Is it fair enough? Mine is too, kind of. So, all right. Well, then we are gonna go ahead and end this. Go ahead and end the episode here. If you guys enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button. That way you know when we're going when we upload it. I was about to say when we're going live. We don't go live on the channel. But we do go live on Twitch, which will be down below in the description. Whereas there's also our socials down there as well. And then on top of that, go and subscribe. All right. That way you know when we upload. All right. Other than that, I think that's all we got for y'all tonight. Have a great rest of your day.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.